as a layer. If not, you have to find it by going to add data. So you can see here that the high is exactly the same, 3.12, the low is exactly the same, -5197. I right click on it and go to properties, and if you remember, just check the cell size is exactly the same, because we do want everything to be exactly the same. Grids, continuous and floating point is the same, and all these, it's the same coordinate system, so that's all fine. It's just a new grid, so we can just cancel out of that. And then if I'll go to contours through favorites, so you know where to look. So you can either use 3D Analyst, raster surface and contour, or you can use spatial analyst, surface, and then contour. Double click on contour, and then you input the raster. So this is one we were using before, and this is a new grid, category 25 meter grid. So one click it with a left click, and here you just add the folder and the whole name. So we go to our contours folder. If you haven't created one, then create one by using this tool. It says new folder. So just go to contours, and then we'll call it contour 5 meter. So that tells me that I'm going to have 5 meter intervals for my contours. So you just press save, and here we have to have 5. Again, it will just relate to whatever unit is here, so you just put in 5, you don't have to put 5 meters. But it has to be positive, so even though we're dealing with depth, it doesn't matter, it will just be 5 to -5, or 5 to 0 to -5 to -10. So the base contour, we'll just keep that as 0. It just means if you only want contours from, say, -100, you can put that as a base contour, but 0 is fine here. The Z factor we went over in slope in the other video is just about changing the actual height and manipulating that. In this case we don't want to do that, because the height is in meters and we want 5 meter contours, so we want an accurate picture, so we just keep that as 1, and then we just press OK. Just another thing, you can look in the tool help if you want to learn a bit more about how the contours are created, but otherwise we'll just press OK, and that will create these contour shapes. So you'll see that you've got the warning, which is about the datum conflict. That's basically, again, just saying that the actual map file, and here the layers, which has the original coordinate system, is different to the one we've just added, but that's fine. It knows, it sort of manages to manipulate it, so it's correct. So we can just press close, and you'll see that we've got these contours. So as I say, if you're having a problem with a raster, it's worth just trying to export it and seeing if that works. So then we've got the contours for 5 meters. They're a shapefile, so we can just open an attribute table, and you can actually even highlight them. They're just pure lines, so they work exactly the same way. So you can highlight them. You could zoom to this area. This might take a bit of time. Well, let's see. That's off the main area. So we'll just zoom back to the layer, and I'll see there is the contours we highlighted there. And then you can just basically color the contours. So I'll just turn that selection off by just going to that clear selected feature. We just we right click on contour and then go to properties, and then we go to symbology. Here you can see the contours are a single line, a single blue line at the moment, but we can change them into categories. So we go to unique values. So I'll show you that again. We go from features, we click on categories once, it'll automatically go to unique values. We see here that it's creating the new unique values of ID, but we don't want that. We want the contour, which is all done automatically. And then we need to add all values. So we'll just add all the values that we have, and you'll see here it's from 0 to -50. So that's the only categories we have. We'll get rid of the all other values. So this is giving us a different color for each contour. You can change that system in here, but we'll just keep the sort of default, and then we'll press OK. And this will just change all the contours into different colors. So now we can label them as well, so I'm just going to zoom into one specific area here, and we'll see that there are different colours, and we're just going to label them according to what contour line they are. So we click on label feature, and nothing will happen. I'll show you why in a minute. Oh, well, something will happen. It's actually going to label them strangely. We want to change. It's basically labeling them according to their ID number. So the ID number relates to the open attribute. This FID number, which obviously goes from 0 to 9,356. We want it to relate to the actual contour table. So we right click, go to properties, and then we go along to the tab that says labels, and you'll notice here that it's relating the contour here to ID, but we want it to say contour. So if I apply that, that should immediately apply that and then show the actual contour number. And you can change it, so you can change the font, change the shape of the size of it, make it bold. We'll just keep it that way. We'll change the colour to red, and you just press OK, and then you'll have a nice contour map with all the contours labelled, and you'll see that they're definitely in 5 metre intervals. So you can play around with having 1 metre intervals or 10 metre intervals, just whatever looks nice. Obviously you'll notice that you get weird contours out here that don't make a lot of sense, but you can always change the extent so that you can get just an area in which you want contour lines. So that's how to make contours.